Hey everyone, thank you for joining in. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm actually focusing on YouTube and TikTok right now. But actually, the best thing to do for all my TikTok viewers is to move over to the YouTube account. So my YouTube channel is Yellow Pig Bear. Okay. Today I'm going to be talking about how to plan the perfect itinerary for when you come to Okinawa. For those of you who are not familiar with my Bonsai Japan series, I've actually been releasing a series of videos on YouTube about um, Okinawa. The series is called Bonsai Japan, and this year I've been focusing mostly on Okinawa. So tonight is the third time I'm doing the Bonsai Japan live, and I'm actually sharing with everybody ways to plan or how to plan the perfect itinerary for your trip to Okinawa. Ways to conserve my money when I come to Japan. Now, when you come to Okinawa, you want to have to, I would say that you might want to really have a good budget for that. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But first and foremost, when you come to Japan, or to Okinawa specifically, how should you plan your trip? And the first thing I would say is think about what exactly are you looking for when you come for a holiday? Are you coming to, for example, are you coming to Japan because of anime, right? If you're coming to Japan because you love anime, then your focus should be on anime things, right? If you're coming to Japan because of culture and history, then you should focus on places and activities relating to history and culture. And that would help you to plan your itinerary a lot better and help you to prepare your budget better as well. If your reason for coming to Japan is mostly about food and you want to really do a lot of research on food places and plan where to eat, okay? And so basically, for any trip, I think it doesn't just apply to Japan, it applies to any country. Okay. When you travel to a place, you want to make sure that you have an idea about what you want to do or what you want to get out from your trip. And when you come to Okinawa, there are four things that you want to consider when planning your Okinawa trip. What do you want to get out of the trip? And there are four main categories when you come to Okinawa. Okay, the first one is beaches. The places that Okinawa prides itself in is the beaches. Okay, the beaches in Okinawa are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, whatever you see on social media about Okinawa's beaches is 100% spot on. And so, if you're the type of person that loves beaches, you love just going to cafes, enjoying sunsets and slow mornings, or even the sunrise and whatever, right? Then Okinawa is the place for you. Okay, if you're coming to Okinawa, you love beaches. Make sure that beaches are your priority. If you're a nature person, if you love hiking, then Okinawa is a great place to hike because Okinawa has so much space for hiking and there's so much nature in Okinawa. The best place to go to in Okinawa for hiking and uh, natural adventure, it's in the northern parts of Okinawa, Nago and Yambaru. Okay, so Nago Yambaru area, that's the best place to go to for nature hiking. Okay, and I would say that if you are a nature person, your experience in Okinawa would be really worth the time. Yambaru and Nago would be the first two places you want to stop by if you're in Okinawa and you are a nature lover. Okay, for those beach people that like beaches, you're probably going to have to come back to Okinawa at least two or three times to fully enjoy all the beaches in Okinawa. Okay, but for those of you that love nature, you probably just need about a week or two to really experience all of Okinawa's nature. But if you really, really love nature, then I think 2 weeks in Okinawa isn't enough because it's got even just Yambaru alone. There's so much to explore as a nature lover. Okay, I'm not a big fan of forests and jungles. What I mean by that is I'm not accustomed to hiking through forests where there are lots of insects. I almost walked into a huge. There's a spider in there's this spider in Okinawa that is this big, and it is so big, I almost walked into it. Okay, and the sting of that spider is very painful if it lands on your face. Okay, and so I would say that, but and that's why I don't like nature because I'm always scared of getting bitten by spiders. But if you come to Okinawa, then um, if you come to Okinawa, then and you love nature, then that's a good place you want to go to. The third category, I would say, so the first two categories are beaches and nature. If you love beaches, you love nature, come to Okinawa. The third category is culture and history. Okay. Now, if you are a person that loves traveling to a place to learn more about the local culture and history of the country or the local region, then Okinawa, I can guarantee, just like the rest of Japan, Okinawa has plenty of history and culture. Okay, the Ryukyuan culture is so rich, it's so tragic that Okinawan culture has been the original Ryukyuan culture has been shut, suppressed for so many years because the Okinawan Ryukyuan culture is beautiful. It's absolutely riveting, and I love just doing the yachimu, the pottery, and I love doing the Bingata painting. Uh, Pottery is my favorite one because I love pottery. Bingata, I did the glass blowing. If you guys watched some of my Bonsai Japan videos, you would have seen me do the glass blowing activity. I made my own glassware, and I made my own um, earthen vessel as well. Actually, it was a plate, and I made it for my mother, and I gave it to my mom. Right, there's so many things a lot of crafts that you can do in Okinawa that is tied back to Okinawan history and uh, yeah, Ryukyuan heritage. So I would say if you're into history, if you're into culture, then Okinawa is a great place to come to learn more about Ryukyuan, not just Japanese history, but specifically Okinawan history and culture. Um, and then if you're just here because you just want to play, like you're not interested in culture or history, you're not interested in beaches, you're not interested in nature, you're just interested in shopping and gaming and just trying local things in like shopping districts, there then I would say that then you I think Okinawa is still a good place for you, but not the best place. Because even though there is a shopping scene and entertainment scene in Okinawa, is not as vibrant as it is in Tokyo. So if you want like a Tokyo shopping experience in Okinawa, you're not going to get it. The only place you'll find that is in Naha or American Village. But even then, it's not as vibrant as it is in mainland Japan or in many other countries. Okay. So I would say if you're coming to Okinawa for shopping, for eating, just shopping and eating, you probably don't need more than a week, or unless you want to unless you want to go to like all the places in Okinawa. But if you're just here for shopping and games, then Naha is pretty much all you need to go to. And then maybe you could spend some time in American Village. So again, the four categories of travelers for people coming to Okinawa. The first one are beach lovers. If you love beach, Okinawa is definitely the place for you. If you love hiking, if you love like nature trails, definitely a place for you. If you love culture history, 100% the place for you. If you are the type that just wants to come here to shop and eat, 50-50. Okay. If you want theme parks, thrills, 10%, because there isn't much of that in Okinawa. Okay. So that being said, so now we talk about the first thing you need, as I've just said, the first part of planning your itinerary to Okinawa is knowing what you want. And those are the four categories: beaches, nature trails, culture and history, and just simple, short family and friend time. Okay. Next one I'm going to talk about is transport. Okay. So one thing you need to be prepared for when you come to Okinawa is you don't have a lot of very user-friendly public transportation. Public transportation in Okinawa is not local or foreign friendly. Okay? The buses here are always late. the monorail only goes around Naha. So if you're going to any other part in Okinawa outside of Naha, congratulations, you're either going to have to take a taxi or wait for a very late bus. Okay, and the buses only come once or twice every single hour. So if you miss one bus, you might have to wait another hour or two for the next bus. And buses, usually, very often, the last bus is at 9:30, depending on the place you're waiting for the bus. Okay, but usually the last bus comes at 9:30 in the evening at night. So if you for those of you living in Singapore, you know that buses do run until like midnight, right? But in Okinawa, they don't. Okay, so I just want to say to all my fellow Singaporeans, don't expect convenience or efficiency when you come to Okinawa. And if you think that there is inefficiency in Japan in terms of its softwares, okay, systems, whatever, it's way more inefficient in Okinawa. Taxi drivers here can't read maps, okay? They get lost really easily and they can't read their apps. So even if you're using an app to book a taxi in Okinawa, the driver might still not be able to find you because they can't read bloody maps. Okay. Next one is so I would say if you have a driver's license, please rent a car when you come to Okinawa. You need a car. Okay. If you don't have a car, I just want to say you can still enjoy Okinawa, but you might most I think the best thing for you is just to stay in Okinawa. I mean in Naha. Okay, because Naha is the only place with a monorail. So if you want to go any other part of Okinawa without a car, you really, really need to strategize and plan where you want to go. Okay. For those of you flying in from Singapore, okay, I have a user on YouTube who says, "Hey, you can cycle around." Yes, that's true. You can cycle around, um, but it depends. Like I said, it depends on how long you're going to be there, where you want to go, and what you want to get out of it. If you're a pro cyclist, you're experienced cyclist, by all means, take a bicycle, rent a bicycle, cycle around the island. By all means, it's a really big island. Okay. Um. So yeah, but I would say the best thing to have is a car. A car is your best friend in Okinawa. Um. When it comes to from one town, okay, I have a YouTuber who asked, how far is one town from one town to another? Um, I would say that it would probably take you about, well, if I were to take a bus, one town to another could be about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you cycle, it probably take you about 40 to 60 minutes to cycle from one town to the next. Also, you have to know that there are lots of hills in Japan, sorry, in Okinawa. A lot of hills, and underneath those hills are a lot of Ohaka tombs. Okay, so there are lots of hills, there are lots of flyovers, especially going from Naha to the other parts of Okinawa. There are lots of expressways and highways. Um, and cycling isn't always the safest option in Okinawa either, unless, like I said, you have to be a really good cyclist if you want to cycle around Okinawa because it can be really dangerous. And drivers here sometimes can be reckless. Okay. So yeah, if you for those of you in Singapore, you'd be familiar with the drivers in Malaysia and Indonesia. Yeah. So if you think about Malaysia, Malaysian driving, it's pretty much similar in Okinawa. In fact, I tell a lot of my friends in Singapore that coming to Okinawa, the life in Okinawa feels pretty similar to life in Malaysia. Um, and I think it's pretty similar to life in like JB, Malacca, Penang, Ipoh. Oh man, I miss Ipoh. I miss Ipoh Hor Fun. Wow, so good. Okay, anyway, um, so yeah, cycling is really great. It's a great option, but it's not the safest option. That's what I would say. Okay. Are there designated um, cycling routes from one town to another? There are okay, there aren't I think there are in specific places, but like I said, just like in Singapore, I think this uses from Singapore. Like in Singapore, if those of you familiar, there are lots of flyovers, and it's pretty much the same thing in Okinawa. You have to go along those flyovers. There are cycling paths for cyclists. Um, but again, like I said, it's very steep. Okay, the routes are very steep. So yeah, I would just say take a car. Okay, bring a friend with you who can drive a bleeding car. Okay, but yes, take a bicycle if you really want to. If you're very adventurous, take a bicycle. By the way, guys, if I'm going to say this live on YouTube, okay, if my YouTube account hits 12,000 subscribers, and uh, if this YouTube live today, the YouTube live episode today, oh, no, no, not YouTube live. Okay, if any, in fact, let me change that. If I hit 12,000 subscribers, and if any of my YouTube videos hits 12,000 likes, okay, I will walk 120 kilometers around Okinawa. I've done 120 km in Singapore. I would do it in Okinawa too. Okay. I would literally walk around Okinawa 120 kilometers. And the last time I did 120 km in Singapore, I did it over 3 days. Okay. I completed it in 48, no, not 48. What is forgot how long it was, slightly more than 48 hours. I think it was about um I basically completed it in the afternoon on the third day. So I'm hoping to break that record here in Okinawa. So guys, if you want to see me walk 120 km around Okinawa, I'll do it live, by the way. I will walk around Okinawa 120 km live. And so if you guys want to see me do that, go to my YouTube right now and subscribe. Okay, the moment I hit 12,000 subscribers and 12,000 likes on any of my videos, I will do a 120 km route march around Okinawa. Now, I think weather is. I think a lot of people have asked me this question, like, when is the best time to come to Okinawa? If you ask me, okay, if you like sunshine, like if you're living in the UK and you hate because it's all gloomy and dark in the UK, okay, if you come from a country where there's very little sunlight, well, summertime would be the best because um, the one thing that Okinawa is very similar to Singapore in one way. It tends to rain a lot during the cold seasons too. Um, it usually rains more often between July and October. Okay, and that's also the typhoon season. So I usually advise against people coming to Okinawa between August and October because that's typhoon season, and the chances of you canceling your trip is much higher during that period. So I think the best time to come to Okinawa would be between November and is from November to December, or um, between February and May. So if you come between February and May, that's a great time. You come between November and December, that would be a great time to come to Okinawa. But like I said, if you are a summer person, you love sunlight, come during, I think, June, July. That would be the best time. Nago and Yambaru tend to rain a lot because it's a densely forested area, so chances of it raining is quite high. And also Yambaru and Nago are pretty higher up on the hills. There are lots of hills and mountains in that area, so it tends to rain quite a bit. So if you're planning to go to like Nago for beaches, or if you're planning to go to Yambaru for its nature trails, bring an umbrella. Um, okay, food. Um, I've said this to so many people. Okay, food in Okinawa is very limited in terms of the option, in terms of the selection. Sorry, there's a lot of food in Okinawa. Certainly, there are lots of food places to go to, of course. But the selection is very, very small. Okay, um, the if you talk about traditional Okinawan dishes, the most local and traditional thing you have to eat here is mozukusu. I have some in my fridge. For people that live in Okinawa, we don't eat mozukusu at the izakayas because they're very expensive. You can actually get them at the supermarkets for like 100 yen or less than 200 yen per pack. Okay. Some cost even maybe just, you know, 50 yen for a pack of mozukusu. It's very cheap. It's very local. It's very traditional because mozuku seaweed can only be sorry, Okinawa is the only place where mozuku seaweed is grown organically. Okay, grown and harvested organically. As of right now, based on my data, there is no other place in the world that actually produces uh, mozuku seaweed, or even producing it organically. So actually, mozuku is 100% Okinawan product. It's naturally Okinawan. Okay, you can only find mozuku seaweed in Okinawa, naturally, organically. Okay, so if you want to have something really local, very traditional, mozuku seaweed is the one thing you have to eat here. Um, the other one, the other options, I can't say for sure if they are 100%. And they are traditional. They are traditional, but whether they are originally Okinawan in origins, I can't say for sure. You have to ask the locals. But the other common traditional dishes that you find in Okinawa are Okinawan soba. Now, Okinawa soba is not the same type of soba that you eat in Tokyo or Kyoto. It's not the dipping zaru soba or matcha soba that you normally eat in mainland Japan. It actually, I honestly, it feels a lot closer to. I'm not trying to be crude or rude, but as a Singaporean, I can say that Okinawa soba is very similar to the fishball noodles that we eat in Singapore. Um, So, in terms of the texture and the taste, and even the quality, but of course, the broth and the quality of the soup is way more exciting than, sorry, Singapore, but the Okinawa soba broth is way more exciting than um the broth that the fishball noodles broth in Singapore. Okay, Malaysia as well. Sorry, Malaysia. Okinawa soba trumps your fishball noodles any day. So usually, if you want to look for Okinawan food in Okinawa, the types of dishes are repetitive. It's the same. It's the same everywhere. So that's food. So this is important for your planning because, like I said, food options are very limited as in food selection is very limited. So you have to think: Are you looking for something more Japanese, more specifically more Okinawan, or are you looking for American food? There's a lot of American food in Okinawa, without a doubt. Okay, for obvious reasons. But honestly, I think it's just me because I'm Asian. And again, nothing racist here. I'm an Asian, and I'm still very Asian. So I love Asian food. Okay, I love Asian food a lot. So I like American food. I just can't eat as much American food as Americans do because I find like American food just makes me fat very fast. Like I love the chickens. I love the fried chicken. I love the waffles. I love the pancakes whatsoever. In fact, I don't think pancakes was is pancake an American thing? I thought it was a European thing first. But anyway, um, all the American stuff is great, but I get fat really quickly just eating that stuff. So I can't. Okay. But if you don't mind getting fat quickly, then eat all the American food you want in Okinawa by all means. Okay. But anyways, I'll just say this food selection is not very wide in Okinawa. So don't expect um to eat as much variety as you do in mainland Japan. Back to planning. So I think when you plan your trip here, you need to think about the food that you want to eat because that now if you're planning to have a lot of American food, I would say your budget's going to go up a lot. Okay. The average cost of food per person for adults would be somewhere between 1,500 yen to 2,000 yen per meal. Okay. I'll just say this right now. The average cost from my experience, the average cost of one meal, yeah, a simple meal. Like you order like just one bowl like that and a drink, it'll cost you between 1,500 yen and 2,000 yen, depending on where you are dining. Okay. If you're dining in Naha, which is a very touristy place, it's going to be closer to 2,000 to 2,300 yen. If you're going to have food, let's say in Motobu, Nago area or Yambaru, it will go a lot down, way down to like 1,000 yen to thousand. The most you'd spend probably for one meal is 1,800 yen a meal in the northern part of of Okinawa. If you're coming to Okinawa specifically for the first time, and you're only coming for a week, this is why your itinerary needs to be. You need to decide what you want before you plan a trip. For one week as a newcomer, if you like beaches, one week is not enough to cover all the beaches. Okay? If you're coming for one week just to explore Okinawa, I would say spend about 2 to 3 days in Naha, one day in American Village, and maybe 2 or 3 days up in Nago or something. And that's it. If you're only coming to Okinawa to see and taste and experience something for a while, you don't have time to go to the other islands. Like I've seen videos of people traveling to Okinawa within a week and then going to the other islands. Okay. Now, those people that do that are people that like beaches. Okay. But if you're not a beach person, then don't bother going to the other islands because most of the islands around Okinawa, the other smaller islands, they are very beach places. So you might not enjoy those places as much if you're not a beach person, if you're not doing surfing, you're not doing diving, you're not doing snorkeling or fishing, those places wouldn't mean a thing to you. Okay. Just stay on the main island. But if you do like beaches, you like marine activity, sea activity, okay, then by all means go to the other. I would say that use that one week, just go to as many beaches as you can, or go to some of the islands. I think if you want to go to an island, Miyakojima would be the best. In fact, you probably could go to Miyakojima through Taiwan. So you could stop in Taiwan, go to Miyakojima, and then go to Okinawa. Or you could go to Okinawa, Miyakojima, and then visit Taiwan. The other option is you spend 2 to 3 days. No, you spend 2 to 3 days in Naha, and then you spend another 2 to 3 days in Nanjo. Now, Nanjo and Itoman are areas toward the south of Okinawa. They're much closer to Naha. Okay, so they're right next. These are areas right next to the Naha area. So you could spend like literally a whole week just in the southern parts of Okinawa. So I would say that that's a second option. In fact, if I were you, if I were any of you, and I were coming to Okinawa for the first time, I would probably just spend if I'm only coming here for a week, I would probably just stay in Naha and Nanjo. Nanjo has beautiful scenery. I'm not lying. It's picturesque, beautiful. It's boom, right in your face, man. All those dreamy videos you see on YouTube, that's exactly what Nanjo looks like near the beaches. Okay, beautiful. And if you go and Itoman, which is somewhere I think between Nanjo and Naha, Itoman has the karate hall where you get to learn about the history of karate. You actually have you can actually do some karate experiences at the karate hall. And then there's also the Peace Memorial, the Okinawa Prefectural Peace Memorial hall, where you get to learn about the history of Okinawa during the Second World War and before the Second World War. So there's a lot of very deep history about Okinawa that you can find in the Peace Memorial Museum in Itoman. So those are two options. I wouldn't bother going to American Village if you ask me. It's pretty boring, mostly. Yeah, you don't have to spend more than one day in American Village. Okay, so that's pretty much all from me. I know I've said a lot of things. Now I'm going to put a lot of this information on my I'm actually going to save this video. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, Yellow Pig Bear. For those of you that are joining in live on TikTok, this recording is going to be saved on my YouTube channel, Yellow Pig Bear. Okay, you can find all my Banzai Japan videos on my YouTube channel. Again, guys, if I hit 12,000 subscribers, and if any of my videos, any of them, hits 12,000 likes, I will do a 120 km route march around Okinawa. I've done it before in Singapore. I'll do it here in Okinawa. Okay. And but anyway, the main point of the videos is to share what I've learned and what I've encountered in Okinawa, and to give insights to people who want to come to Okinawa. My whole Banzai Japan series is not just about Okinawa, it's actually about the whole of Japan. It's a series that I've been wanting to do for a long time, or should I say redo for a long time, since 2013. Uh, and so I've decided to start the whole Banzai Japan series with Okinawa. Hey, so that's all I've got for you guys here today on Banzai Japan Live. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube and TikTok. Again, those of you who are watching live on TikTok, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe right now to to Yellow Pig Bear. Okay, watch all my Banzai Japan videos, and if any of them hit 12,000 likes and I have 12,000 subscribers, I will do a 120-kilometer route march around Okinawa. Okay. Again, I have done 120 km back in Singapore, and I really want to break my record here in Okinawa. So please help me to exercise. Give me a challenge, guys. Click that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, Yellow Pig Bear, right now, and start liking all the videos on YouTube. Thank you so much.